There was a man who was walking on the beach. God said, "Son, you have been so faithful. I am going to grant you one special wish." He was so excited. He said, "God, I always wanted to go to Hawaii, but I'm afraid to fly. So my wish is that you would build me a bridge across the ocean." God said, "Son, that is totally impossible. Think of the logistic of that. Now take some time and wish again." He said, "Okay, God, I have been married 4 times. All my ex-wives say I am so insensitive. So my wish is that I would be able to understand a woman. I want to know why they think like they think, why they feel like they feel." It was a quite long pause. God said, "Do you want 2 lanes or 4 lanes on that bridge?" Dear friends in Jesus Christ, there are times in all our lives when our faith can be put to the test. We can have all kinds of questions that we struggle to get answer to, and those questions can unsettle us, even undermine our faith somewhat. The questions may be occasioned by some tragic event in our lives, some deep loss we struggle to make sense of. We can find it hard to see where God is in all of it. The faith that once seems certain and assuring can now seem shaky and fragile. That appears to be the situation in which we find John the Baptist in today's Gospel. When he first appears on the pages of the Gospel, he is a man of certainties. He knows exactly what he is about. He is the voice crying out to people in the wilderness, announcing the coming of someone greater than himself, on whom God's Spirit would come, calling on people to repent of their sins in preparation for this person's coming. He cut such a strong and assured figure that great crowds came out to him in the wilderness. Today's gospel gives us a very different picture of John the Baptist. He is no longer living in a great open spaces of the Judean wilderness, but confined in a small cell in Herod's prison. He no longer sees Christ face to face, but now only hears about him. The word that comes from his lips is no longer the fiery preaching of the strong prophet, but the anxious question of someone who is beginning to doubt his earlier certainties. Are you the one who is to come, or should we wait for another? John had earlier spoken of the wrath to come and had announced the coming of a great reaper who, with his winnowing fork in his hand, would gather his wheat into the granary and burn the chaff with unquenchable fire. When Jesus began his public ministry, however, he did not really fit the job description that John gave him. Mercy rather than wrath exemplified Jesus' ministry. John began to wonder if he had directed the people to the right person. Had his life's mission been a mistake? When life goes against us, we can begin to question everything. John had been thrown into the prison. in the darkness of his prison, he experienced a darkness of spirit. Such a darkness of spirit, such undermining of the faith can affect us at any time. Indeed, a darkness of spirit can affect many people at this time of the year in the run up to Christmas. Many of us may find it easy to identify with the John the Baptist as he appears in today's gospel. His very vulnerability can speak to us. In response to John's question, Jesus issued a beatitude. Happy is the one who does not lose faith in me. He was calling on John to remain faithful, even though things did not turn out quite as John had expected. That is also the Lord's call to all of us on this third Sunday of Advent. He calls on us to remain faithful even when a darkness of the Spirit comes over us. Jesus declared to John through the messenger that John had sent to Jesus, "There are good things happening that you may not be aware of. The blind see, the lame walk, lepers are cleansed, the dead are raised to life, and the good news is preached to the poor." In other words, Jesus was saying, God is at work in my ministry, even if in a way that is different to what you have envisaged. Those who are in darkness of spirit often need to have all the good and wholesome things that are happening around them pointed out to them. What John was expecting was missing, but something else was there that he could easily have missed. Sometimes, when we have clear expectation of God or of others that are met, we too can miss what is there that is worth celebrating and giving thanks for. Advent invites us to look around, to name all the good things that are happening in our midst, all the ways that the Lord is working among us. Yes, dear friends in Jesus Christ, like John the Baptist, when what we expected to happen does not happen, we can be slow to recognize that something better may be happening. Our plans may not come to pass, but God's dream or God's purpose are always working themselves out. Sometimes we need to be patient if we are to see the unexpected work that God may be doing. That is the call of St. James in today's second reading. Be patient, do not lose heart, because the Lord's coming will be soon.